I used to believe the greatest thieves wore masks and carried weapons. Turns out, the ones who robbed me blind were sitting across my dinner table, smiling, laughing, pretending to celebrate me. My name is Ethan Cole, I'm 27, and I thought I had finally built a life worth being proud of. But a single night shattered everything I knew about family, love, and loyalty. For years, I lived with a kind of discipline that felt like punishment. While my co-workers threw money at cocktails and weekend getaways, I lived in a showbox apartment, driving a rusted sedan that coughed every time I turned the key. Every extra dollar went into one place, a savings account that would someday hold the key to my first home. 2 years of sacrifice. 2 years of saying no when I wanted to say yes. And then, one single evening stripped it all away. It started when my parents showed up uninvited. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the wine, the expensive takeout, the smiles that felt rehearsed. My dad raised his glass to me, to our son, making us proud. For a moment, I let myself believe it. I thought maybe they were finally seeing me, not just as a paycheck, but as a person. But then my phone buzzed. A banking notification. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. $14,000 withdrawn. Every cent I had saved, gone. I froze, staring at the numbers. Then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. Did one of you touch my account? My mom didn't even flinch. She dabbed her lips with a napkin and said, "Don't be dramatic, Ethan." That's when I lost it. Dramatic? My life savings is gone. My dad leaned back in his chair, swirling his glass of wine like a villain in some cheap movie. Consider it a lesson. Family comes first. And then my sister, my spoiled, entitled sister, twirled a set of car keys in her hand. Thanks for the upgrade, bro. My old ride was trash. That was the moment I realized this wasn't a mistake. It was a plan. A conspiracy carried out by the 3 people who should have protected me most. They didn't just steal my money. They stole my trust, my future, my sense of safety. And when I demanded it back, my mom laughed in my face. Laughed. "Relax," she said. "You make enough. You'll earn it back." I kicked them out that night. My own parents. My own sister. I told them to leave their keys and get out before I called the police. But that's when my dad leaned close, his breath hot with wine, and whispered, "Remember who co-signed your lease, son? One call, and you're out on the street." That's when it hit me. I wasn't just broke. I was trapped. I spent the night in a budget motel, staring at water stains on the ceiling, replaying every childhood memory I had ignored, the birthday money that disappeared, the scholarships they never helped me apply for, the endless excuses about bills. It was always there. The pattern. I just never wanted to see it. The next day, I looked into legal action. I wanted justice, but the lawyer's words hit me harder than the theft itself. "Since you left your password written down, it'll be nearly impossible to prove it wasn't voluntary." Voluntary. Like I'd ever hand them the knife to stab me with. That night, I went back to my apartment to pack. But when I opened the door, I froze. My family was there again, throwing a party in my living room. Relatives I hadn't seen in years were eating my food, drinking my wine, clapping my dad on the back as he bragged about how Ethan's finally stepping up, paying off our debts, buying his sister a car. They weren't ashamed. They were proud. And that's when it clicked, this wasn't a one-time robbery. This was the beginning of their plan to bleed me dry for years. I left that night. Packed what I could. Rented a tiny studio in a building with a doorman, because the only thing I wanted more than my money back was my freedom. And as I sat alone on a mattress in that bare apartment, I realized something I'll never forget. Sometimes family isn't your safe place, it's your prison. Now I'll ask you this, what would you do? Would you press charges against your own parents? Would you burn the bridge forever, or would you forgive them because blood is supposed to be thicker than water? Drop your answer in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. And if you've ever had to cut off someone you thought you could trust, hit that subscribe button. Because this is just the beginning of my story.